Meet Natalie. Natalie loves books.
This is your brain on books. Any questions? And this is Angela. She's a very serious jazz singer.
Shooby-dooby-dooby-doop-doop-doo. And sure, we both like to stay informed, but this world sometimes, am I right? You know what we need? 30 minutes of meditation.
Pop culture meditation.
So we're here to remind you.
We get it. You're smart. But right now, take a deep breath and put your books down. Angela, hi.
Hey, girlfriend.
How you doing?
Good. How are you?
Good.
I'm excited about today.
I am very excited about today. This movie that we are going to talk about today, we got to jump right in because we got a lot to cover.
Yes, we do.
This movie that we are talking about today, Angela, is one of like my top 5 favorite movies of all time.
Yeah.
And rewatching it later in life, every time, just it's better and better and better. And if I thought it was as funny as I did when I was little in 1989,
right?
We watched it as a group last night, and I had my laptop, and I was it's just howling. Today, listener, we are going to talk about the perfect movie that is Uncle Buck.
Uncle freaking
Buck. 1989, starring John Candy.
Yes.
So I honestly had this, I know a lot of the words, and I was actually reciting them as I was overserved and being annoying, but this was one of the movies that my grandfather, Papa, put, he would always pirate movies for us, with the VHS. And this was on my favorite tape. And I've mentioned this before on the pod, but the first movie was Dirty Rotten Scoundrels. The second movie on the tape was The Burbs. And the third movie on the tape was Uncle Buck. So if I had that tape with me, that one tape changed my life.
Right.
And I wish I still knew where that was, but who knows?
But do you even have a VCR?
My parent, Bruce and Sally, have one at their house. Sally's not real nostalgic with holding on to that kind of stuff. So it's probably with my baby book, wherever that is. So anywho, this movie starts off. Sorry. In my what?
Your hope chest.
Yeah. Yeah.
Did you have a hope chest growing up, Natalie?
No,
me neither. Me neither. All right. Sorry to interrupt you. Go ahead. This movie starts out.
The intro of this movie, because we always talk about intros, and the font of this and the colors, it looked like it's a pure entering the 90s era intro. And honestly, the one song that plays on repeat in this is what is it called? It's not. I wanted to say it's a. What is the name of that song? Young MC.
Oh. This is a song for all the fellas trying to do what those ladies tell us. I know all the words.
I know. Well, then you should know the name of the song.
Overzealous. Play hard to get female. It's called Bust a Move.
That's right.
Females get jealous. Okay, smarty, go to a party.
Yeah. So they use that song all through this movie.
That is very, very specific to 1989.
Instrumental parts and the parts with the words. It's amazing. So. And then you're already getting this vibe from the intro because Uncle Buck, it has this Lincoln Marquis car that smokes and makes the pipes make all these sounds. So he's driving on the stand. This is in Chicago, directed by John Hughes.
Yes.
And it's already got planes, trains, and automobile vibes. It's also we're getting Home Alone vibes. We're getting we're going in so many different things. And I always wonder if it's just John Candy. Maybe it's not any of those things, and it's just John Candy vibes. And those are the vibes that he has always consistently provided.
I think it's John Hughes vibes.
Very
honestly.
John Hughes vibes.
It's John Hughes. And I feel like John Hughes and John Candy they go together like peanut butter and jelly. And I don't know which one is the peanut butter and which one's the jelly, but I think maybe John Candy's the jelly.
I think so too. And there was some Buck's character is this out of work gambler, and who
got that nice girlfriend.
He's got a lovely girlfriend played by the mom from Field of Dreams, and who is actually married to Ed Harris.
Oh my God,
she's that spunky little raspy redhead.
Yeah.
But John Candy was notoriously coming to set hungover, and John Hughes heard about a night that some citizen had with John Candy on a radio show. They were talking about hanging out with him, getting hammered with John Candy on this radio show, and John Hughes heard it and he was upset, and John Candy told Hughes, he was like, I'm just trying to get into character because Buck is so disheveled and, kind of like smoking cigars and doing this like bowling, gambling, non-committal, perma-bachelor.
Yeah.
And and he was trying to portray that dishevelment, which was BS. And John Hughes rejected that and he canceled his scenes for that day and made him like go sleep it off.
Oh, wow.
He was like,
it's
nah.
like, you can just act. It's called acting.
But they loved it. But everybody loved John Candy. He was very sweet.
Right.
And, but he was definitely a big drinker and would always stay up late and he had some shenanigans. How old do you think John Candy is in this movie?
Well, I don't know I know he wasn't that old when he died. So I'm going to say he's probably like something ridiculous, like 34 or something.
No. Sorry,
is he older than that?
He's 40.
Okay. Yeah.
He's 40 years old.
Yeah. He has a baby face. He looks a little
He died at 42.
Hard.
He died at my age.
Oh my God. He died 2 years after this?
Well, he said he was in the movie. He's 40. So he's probably younger in real life.
Okay.
When they filmed it.
Oh.
But
okay. So
that's what he was like.
How old was
his age was said, but I
don't
think it was right.
What year in real life did he die? Do we know? I can look it up.
Whenever he was 42. Anyway, so
he died in 94. Okay. So, but that's okay. So that means he was like 35 in this movie.
Right.
Ish or whatever. I can't do math, but yeah.
Well, so this starts out with Uncle Buck getting a phone call from his brother who lives in the suburbs of Chicago.
Yes.
The
Winnetka.
mother.
They live in Winnetka.
Right. The mom, her father has had a heart attack and they have to go back to their town where they had moved from. And they cannot find anybody to watch the kids. There's a teenager named Tia and she's a absolute nightmare. And then there's the twins, Macaulay Culkin and Gabby Hoffman.
Which I wrote down like
they're adorbs.
Cutie patootie, little Gabby Hoffman. I cannot get enough.
I can't get enough of Macaulay Culkin.
Get enough of Macaulay Culkin either. Both of them are so cute.
So cute.
Can we just for one brief moment, because I just want to get this out in the open before we continue on even further with this episode. Can we just talk about the mom's hair for just one brief moment?
I have multiple minutes.
Okay, so
I can't shake it.
I cannot shake it either.
I can't shake
Her hair is not only okay. Now, back in those days, I think we've talked about this before.
Mm-hmm.
That was called a bi-level.
Okay, sure.
Okay, it was called a bi-level, short in the front and long in the back,
but not mullet.
Many years
it's
later,
like a fancier mullet.
Many years later, the term became mullet. Okay, but back in those days, and I know because I had one, we called it a bi-level. Okay.
Well, that's a fancier way to say it.
Let's also talk about the fact that it is shellacked from here to kingdom come.
Her hair is a pure enigma to me. And it gets weirder every scene she's in. Her hair gets weirder and weirder. It's like, and I wish that every time we saw her again and her hair got weirder and weirder, that the music Enigma was playing in the background. Do, 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 do. Like, just because I'm mesmerized with how weird her hair continues to get. And this is over like a 2-3 week period.
Yeah.
It just constantly gets weirder. And I wonder if it's the stress of her relationship with her 16-year-old or 15-year-old daughter.
Maybe.
I think that's how Mama handles stress. Her hair gets weirder and weirder the more stressed out she gets.
And she's like, Sam, dis-moi. Right. Yeah. Her hair is something to behold.
It's just the weirdest thing.
It's its own personality in this film.
It's its own character.
I just had to get that out of the way right now because it was haunting me, still haunting me.
Well, as opposed to everyone else's hair, which is fab, especially Tia. She has great hair. She has great style. Very cool. She is what an epitome of a hormonal nightmare. And she's like terrifying. She scares the hell out of me.
Yeah,
in this movie.
She's 15. She can't drive yet.
So scary.
She's 15. She's ready. She's 15, going on 40.
Is she going to kill everyone in her family with those facial expressions? You don't know.
No, you don't know.
You just don't know. Her vibe is so bad. And, behind the scenes, she got really close with John Candy. And they were really close. And so it got harder for her to be so mean.
Right.
to him.
Right.
But he was like, and like worked with her, but they were really, he was like, became a mentor to her. So family emergency, nobody like other than Uncle Buck is around to
Available.
watch
Yeah.
these kids. It's in the middle of the night. And the mom is clearly worried about that and like doesn't want
because she's like, that
to
is
do
like
that.
the last person I
It's the
want to
last
take care of
resort.
my children.
And here's the thing. Part of this movie, and we'll have to circle back, I am in a lot of ways the Uncle Buck of my family because I'm pretty sure if like my sister, my niece and nephew, I have a niece and nephew also. And I'm the Uncle Buck that would be like last resort, come out and help. And I'm my answering like the way this movie is shot, like all of these monologues that he has on one side of a phone call throughout the movie is hysterical.
So
He's like, I've just been leaving the toilet sit up for the dog to drink the water. Oh, is that why it's blue? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that answers a lot of questions. But when she calls him, or when they're just talking in the kitchen, he's like, she's like, do you want me to leave you some checks? Do you need some money? Thank you for doing this. And he's like, oh, no. I got it. And then she's like, okay, well, I'll pay back when we get home. And he's like, so out of state party checks, signing those
third
over.
party
That's
checks
third
are
party
okay,
check. That's
right?
okay, right? And she's like, I'm just gonna leave you money. So I could see myself like being like, no, I got it.
Right.
And I actually would do it. I could see Lauren and Collins calling me in a pinch, whatever. But I'm like the Uncle Buck that's like making the ginormous pancakes. I'd be making the big, breakfasts and honestly breakfasts. And honestly, like when Sally would be out of town, she had to go to Atlanta a lot to take care of her dad, and Bruce would be there and he would make our lunches. And to this day, when Bruce during COVID would buy me groceries because he was the doctor going to the store, it was Uncle Buck groceries. Okay.
Right.
Like a huge block of cheddar cheese. And like the lunches that I would get from Bruce, like the biggest sandwich, a full pickle, like a jar of milk, like hash browns. I mean, it was like random
and a can of sardines, like
and a can of sardines.
There
like,
it is.
That was Bruce. We would come to school like that, and the part where he's like, would anyone be interested in the lunch trade? And the way that shot like up on the ceiling, all the kids like scoot back.
They're like, hell no.
Yeah, no, but that's this movie is incredibly relatable.
Yes. So
nostalgic.
So tell the people what happens. If they haven't seen, is there anybody listening right now who has not seen Uncle Buck? I think that is the more pressing question, because if you have not seen Uncle Buck, I think it's time for you to remedy the situation because it truly is tight. It moves along fast. The story has so much heart.
There's no dull moment.
Funny. There's not a single dull moment.
You have to pause it to finish your laughing from one scene before, so you can not miss anything in the next scene.
Exactly, because
like it just doesn't stop. It's so good. It's so well done.
Cute. It's a cute
it's
movie,
really sweet.
And I feel like moving into the holidays, I just really want to talk about cute and fun and sweet movies with you because it's like,
I know
this is what we need right now.
We need the warmth.
We always need it.
This movie, everyone has seen it.
Yeah.
If you ever had a television in your home,
right,
and you've gone through the channels, it's on TBS, TNT. You might not remember that you've seen it, but you will. Once you put it on, you're like, oh my god, I remember this, and then your life is just better immediately.
I went to a bar the other day, this cute little Italian little restaurant by my house, and it's called Osteria G. Hey, Osteria G, and I was talking to the bartender, and I was like, somehow Uncle Buck came up, and it was towards the end of the night, and all the bus boys and all the people that were working in the restaurant were like, dude, that scene with the pancakes, I love that scene, dude. I love that scene with and like they're all just like talking about Uncle Buck. Like,
well, that's my family. We quote Uncle Buck.
Everybody loves it
on our family chat regularly.
Yeah.
I got a nickname established by Lizzie when we were little from this movie,
which is
Nat Bug.
Nat Bug,
because of the boyfriend Bug.
Oh, Bug. Right.
And he's like, you're not a gnat, are you, Bug? And Lizzie was like, oh, Nat Bug.
Nat Bug.
And so
that's a
the
check.
whole
That's
part
charming.
of the whole Bug, the boyfriend, and Uncle Buck. So clearly Tia has just been kind of able to do whatever she wants. And she is starving for attention from her family. And she's going down a wishy-washy path with this douchebag named Bug.
Yep.
And Uncle Buck doesn't like it. Uncle Buck is like, no, I'm not. He's like cutting that off. He's like, you can, what was it like? Get used on your mom's time. Get used on your parents'
used
time.
on your parents' time.
You're not
You're
on
not
my
getting
watch.
used on my watch.
Which is great.
The thing that I love about this is that you start out thinking Uncle Buck is going to be such a freaking loser.
Yeah.
And what you
and
realize.
Like not pay attention and not show
just
up.
Let them do
and
whatever.
Not deliver. Yeah.
Yeah. And it turns out that he's even more present, more fun, more interesting, more heartfelt, more so protective, more involved.
He shows up in all the ways that you're
right
like,
ways.
Oh my God, I love an Uncle Buck. How grateful you would be to have had an Uncle Buck in your life that just like always like, he's the uncle that goes to all the plays and like does all the things. And he had never been given the opportunity because they thought he was this like gambling lowlife.
Right.
But so with Bug, Bruce took on the Uncle Buck role with Bug when we were growing up. And so we all also, when our family, if we're like teasing too hard and someone gets rubbed the wrong way, we say things like, we all laugh. Like when we're laughing, but we don't really think it's funny. It's yeah. And then when Bruce gets, if it goes too far, Bruce is like, ever heard of a ritual killing?
Right.
Yeah. So this is Uncle Buck threatening Bug.
Yes.
Ever hear of a tune-up?
Right.
And that's when Uncle Buck is like, if you ever ritual, he's like, on your face like that again in public and you'll be one. All this.
Yes.
I mean, it's just this is one of the most quotable.
Oh my gosh. I wrote down so many quotes.
I know.
I love when Uncle Buck walks into their house for the first time and he's kind of checking stuff out. And he's like, he can't even remember the kids' names, but he just like walks in there and he goes right over to the piano and plays the Twilight Zone.
And the plate.
And he's like looking at the plate. He's like, this is nice. And he drops it.
It didn't break when he like tapped it.
And it doesn't break, and then he drops. He's like, unbreakable, interesting. Then he's like, just sit out to see if it really is unbreakable. Oh no, it really is breakable
on the piano, just on the edge of the piano, just like so quick.
Yes,
and it's just that kind of humor.
And then he meets. What I love in particular is his relationship with the little kids, because his relationship with Gabby Hoffman, and so it's Miles and Maisie, and they are just they just automatically love Uncle Buck.
They love him
immediately. They're like, well, I mean, I do love the scene though. This is the classic scene. 38 questions,
of course.
So Natalie, can you give us do you have a rendition of that, or?
I mean, I don't have the like exact.
Yes, but you could do probably a riff on it for us.
Well,
everybody, yeah. Go ahead. You go right ahead.
Am I doing both parts?
Yeah, go ahead. You just do both parts.
Okay, so the shot is Macaulay Culkin and Uncle Buck at the breakfast table.
Stressed you out.
Yeah, I'm like, okay. So
pressure.
I'm gonna take this on the road.
Don't mess it up. Don't mess it up.
They're sitting in the corner and it's all quiet, and then it shoots to Macaulay Culkin quizzing Uncle Buck. He's like, where are you from? Chicago. I mean, these are not the right words. Where are you from? Chicago. Do you have any kids? No. Why not?
Why not?
It's a long story. Are you married? No. Why not? It's an even longer story. And then he's like, what's your record for consecutive questions? 38. You have much more hair on your nose than my dad does. How nice of you to notice. And then it ends with, I'm a kid. That's my job.
See, you did good. Well, but Macaulay Culkin is adorbs in this.
He is adorable. And
adorbs.
And then in this movie, it's like basically the prequel to Home Alone.
Yes, it really is.
It's like the same house. It looks like the same. And then when he's sitting at the door, opening the mail slot, looking, it's just so set up. And that was his next movie, was Home Alone. This movie got him Home Alone.
Yeah.
And you can tell it's very similar.
When they drive up to the high school, it's New Trier High School in Chicago. It's called something else in the movie, but that's where my friend Adam went to high school. Did you know that?
Crazy.
A lot of people went to that high school. A lot of the people who were in John Hughes movies went to New Trier High School.
Oh, I love that.
That's in Winnetka.
And then we also laughed really hard when Macaulay Culkin, one of his other great lines is Tia's waiting for a ride. And then they're all about to go to the bowling alley.
Yeah.
And she's like, I'd rather be caught dead than going anywhere with you. He's like, well, I can, mess with me today and you'll wake up and I will shave your head. But Macaulay Culkin comes up and he's like, waiting for your sex? Like, while the girl's looking out the window. Just like,
I know.
I mean, no kids would say that now. I mean, just waiting for your sex?
I know.
To his big sister.
He really does have the best lines for sure.
He really does.
Yeah.
And,
What about oh,
we
go
got to
ahead.
talk about Lori Metcalf.
I would literally, it was on my list. I was like
I
sitting here, it was like flying out of my mouth.
cannot.
I
The
cannot.
horn dog neighbor,
Okay, her name is Marcy
Marcy.
Dahlgren Frost.
Right. Well, do you have plans?
She comes
Well,
over
yeah.
and she is just, first of all, 80s outfit to the hilt. I mean,
The riding
the
pants.
the riding,
Amazing.
like riding like jodhpurs.
Jockey, like jockey pants.
Yeah, jodhpurs or whatever.
Yeah.
And her hair and the whole 9 yards and the sweater. And she's just, the makeup, the whole bit,
Everything.
the whole thing. And she comes over and meets Buck, and she's kind of like, oh, who's this? Huh? And she's weirdly just a horn dog and will just pick up on anybody, I guess.
They're playing off of those, housewives,
Stereotypes.
stereotypical board housewives that like to
Right.
flirt with the mailman or the
Right.
UPS man because they're lonely and they're not getting any attention. So they really played this up with her.
Yes.
And she nailed it.
Yes.
Get it? See what I did there?
Yeah, I saw what you did there.
And she comes up on Uncle Buck and he's trying to fix the washing machine. And so he's like talking shit to the washing machine, trying to like get it to start working. And she thinks he's talking to
Oh, right. A lover.
a person.
Right.
And he's like, I'm gonna get this in you if it's the last thing I do. And he's trying to like get this washing machine. She's like, oh my God.
She's like, whoa.
Oh no. But thought it was
yes.
the mom. Didn't know that
right. They weren't home.
So then that all gets resolved.
Yes.
And a lot of the camera work in this movie is also phenomenal, as like a lot of like up close zoomy shots, like when they are dancing to that song. Ba ba na 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 na. What's that song? No 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 no. Dun 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 dun. Do you remember how that song goes? The words.
I'm still trying to clue in. I can't remember. How's it go?
I thought I'd die. I'm in a one on me. So when I'm on a moon. That oldie.
I can't remember how it goes.
Anyway, she dirty dances with Buck.
Yeah, she does.
And he's trying not to. He just doesn't want to be rude.
And he's one of those people
got his little
moves. He's got his little arm moves and
he's got his little dance. But he's trying not to
engage
hurt her feelings.
Right.
But it gets him, and I understand we all can relate to trying to avoid hurting someone's feelings, but at the expense of us being in a situation that's not appropriate.
Right. Right. Sure.
You don't want to do that, but you just also need to not worry about hurting people's feelings all the time. Well, but
Tia sees all this go down and knows that.
She kind of picked up on it. She picked up on problems with Buck and his girlfriend Shanice.
Yes, exactly.
And so
she's going to use that against Buck.
She's a diabolical sad pile.
Yeah,
and she stirs up a bunch of shit with Buck and his girlfriend Shanice and ends up breaking them up because of false information. She lied to Shanice about him going out with Marcy because he didn't. Anywho, so that's going on. You're like, well, that sucks.
Yes.
But
meanwhile,
he goes. Maisie's getting in trouble at school.
Yeah.
So Buck has to go meet with the assistant principal.
Yeah.
And this is another quoted thing that the Sandersons could not touch.
Yeah.
Forever. Which is offensive. Well, we say I work at a skincare business.
Yes. Right.
And we will be like melanoma head.
Right.
Just melanoma head over here. Right. Buck walks into the assistant principal's office and she has this monster mole on her face.
I mean,
it's kind of like the Austin Powers mole, like only you can't pay attention to anything else.
Very prominent,
like a witchy's, like
hairy brown,
like a mole.
Yeah, full on.
So he walks. He's like, I'm Uncle Wart.
Yeah,
Maisie something's uncle.
Yeah,
Maisie something's Wart, not her Wart. I'm her uncle. Melanoma head. Yep. Sorry. Yep. That's what they call me. Melanoma head.
All right.
Melanoma head's coming. And then she tells Buck that Maisie is a silly heart. And that she does, and she's 5 or 6. And she doesn't take her school career seriously. And he is just like floored. He's like, I don't want to know a 6-year-old who's not a silly heart. Right. I definitely don't want to know a 6-year-old who takes their school life seriously.
Yes.
And he gets riled up. He's like, you so much as scowl at my niece or any other student in here, and I find out about it, I'm coming for you. And he stands up. Throws a quarter, said, take this quarter. Go downtown and have a rat gnaw that thing off your face. Good day to you, madam. And then you hear the song. You know? I mean, that's like replay all this, but we've always been like melanoma, and it's not
Yeah.
nice. But
No,
I'll be
it's not
like,
nice, but it's
if
funny.
someone's rude to me, my response, other than I hope you get diarrhea in my head,
Yeah.
is here's a quarter. And even if they don't have a mole in their face, I'm like, go
Right.
downtown, have something knot off your face.
Yeah,
That's
right.
where my brain goes.
Yeah, that's where it is. You guys say something gotta be, anger can
But
do that to a girl. Sure.
You know,
Yeah.
so we wrap up. So he's just Uncle Buck is the best. He is the man. He should be called Uncle Grace
He should be
because he
called
provides
Uncle
so much
Wonderful.
grace for
Yes.
everybody.
Oh my gosh,
And
yes.
he really does. And
Does.
eventually Tia gets in a pickle and he's supposed to go to get this gambling gig where he makes his money for the year. And Tia runs off. She was supposed to watch the twins and he was going to take them with him, and he had a moral crossroads.
He really did.
So he went to go find Tia because he was worried that she was going to get in trouble with, bad decisions.
Bug was going to try to bug her.
So he goes to a party and finds Bug. Well, Tia's not there. He's with another girl. But he has a drill.
Man.
And he drills a hole through the door to get Bug. And then he kidnaps Bug, puts him in trunk. He finds Tia. We don't know that he's in the trunk, right?
Right. We don't know this, right?
And he's like, get in the car. And he shows her the most grace. She's like, are you going to tell my parents about this? And she says, you were right.
Yeah.
Because she's crying. She's crying. All Bug wanted was to get in her pants. Yep. And that's what Uncle Buck tried to tell her.
Yeah.
She's like, well, you were right. And which never happens, by the way.
Right.
15-year-old girls don't say that to, well, you know what?
Well, maybe
to the uncle.
Uncle Buck. Yeah.
Maybe to Uncle Buck.
Not to the daddy. Not to the parents. Not to the Dee. No, not to the mama.
But to Buck, she did. And he was like, I'm not interested in getting you in trouble, because she's humiliated enough.
Yes.
And so he shows her this grace. And then she's like, well, what'd you do to Bug? And he shows her. And he's in the trunk. And
opens the trunk of the car.
He's like, you owe her an apology. And it's like, I'm sorry. And by the way, the guy that plays Bug is the same guy that stars in that ridiculously Why Was It Ever Made movie, The Boy Who Could Fly.
Oh, I think I started that.
I watched
even
that
when
a
I
lot
was
when
younger.
I was little, but if you watch it as an adult, it is ick.
I don't.
It is so ick.
Now I kind of feel like I want to go watch it.
You won't last.
Just to see what
you won't make it through the whole thing. I can tell you that much. You won't.
Okay. So,
but also, then they get Buck, and then the family comes back, and everybody's sweet, and she clears everything up with Buck's girlfriends.
But wait, you skipped over something that was like one of my favorite parts.
The golf balls.
No, before the parents come back. So it's Macaulay Culkin's birthday, or it's the twins' birthday, right?
The clown.
Yeah, the clown.
Yeah.
And so the mom has hired a clown to come for their birthday party. And so the clown rolls up, and the boys are all sitting on the couch like, ugh, clowns are so lame. Ugh.
Yeah. And
they're like, when's the clown? And so Uncle Buck's like, no, come on, you're going to love it. You're going to love it. And then this clown rolls up to the door, and Uncle Buck goes out there. And the clown, Natalie, is like the grossest person in the entire universe.
And it's already a clown. So now add the fact that this is a gross person on top of already being a clown. God.
And he's like chain smoking, and he smells like booze.
Driving this mouse car, this pervert mouse car.
Mouse car that is covered in like fur and looks like a mouse. It's so sick. And Uncle Buck is like, get in your mouse car and get out of here.
Because he's hammered.
And
he's trying to make dildo jokes.
Yes. And it's like, wow. This guy is so gross, but didn't it remind you of John Wayne Gacy at that moment?
Yes.
I was like, this is Chicago.
Yes, John Wayne Gacy.
It's John Wayne Gacy.
Most clowns do.
I know. Like, I'm thinking to myself, like, that could have been John Wayne Gacy going to that birthday party. Oh, my God.
I mean, most clowns make me remind you of John Wayne Gacy, but he punches. Uncle Buck's like, you want to act like that around a bunch of 6-year-olds?
Yeah.
He's like, what are you, so anyway, and he punches him twice.
Yeah.
But
that clown. He said, get in your mouse car and get out of here.
Get out of here. Get out of here. Well, he's like, and Buck is smoking cigars all through the house and just like,
oh yeah,
bonding with the dog, drinking beer with the dog. I mean,
totally.
It's so real life. Yeah, honestly.
Yeah.
Right, real quick, I want to do a chick stop. Now this is going to be a different type of chick stop. Chick. And I did not prepare you. I didn't give you privy for this, but as we always celebrate women with our chick stop, and this is another way, this is a different form of celebrating a woman, because I think it's also important to acknowledge that some women aren't nice to women.
Okay, sure. Gotcha.
And there's been a lot of that around, like, going on around. I mean, and it just happens in life. It's just a part of the thing, you know. But what
Well,
I
I
think is
have some
so
ideas about why that happens, but I won't get into
well,
that.
sure, but I think that and everyone's human and deserves grace, and that's the point of this.
100%.
The point of this pit stop is that it's important for us women
Mhm.
to, and I know not all women are good women, like, that's fine, but that's not your journey, and that's, you know, whatever, but in general, women need to be supportive of other women. They need to give benefit of the doubt, right?
Sure. Yeah.
And also, if you there's just ways to
Where are you
go
going with
about
that?
things
Okay.
in female relationships,
Am I in
right?
trouble? Am I in trouble right
No.
now?
Oh my
Is
god.
this are you trying to work up to telling me something,
That's because
Natalie?
of Tia. No, I'm watching this because Tia was the girl in Uncle Buck, and she
Yes.
was obviously a mean girl.
Yes.
And I'm seeing, and it made me think, and I'm like, you know what?
Yeah.
It's okay for people to be, if you want to be a mean girl, but
Sure.
at the same time, like, you know, people know that, and it's not subtle that when you are just mean. But I think it's important for women to be supportive of women and to, you know, don't be so fucking mean, you know?
That's your chick stop? Don't be so
Um,
fucking mean? Is that
uh,
it? Is that
no,
all you
and I
want to
think
say?
that's not, you know, honestly, I had
Where
it all really beautifully worked out in my head, and I got all riled up in my head about Uncle Buck, and I kind of lost it.
Okay, so here's what
So you
I
need to finesse that for me.
here's what
You
I
know what
want
I'm saying?
here's what I think you're trying to say.
Yeah, yeah, help me.
Sometimes mean girls are mean girls because they are dealing with things that
They're hurting.
we don't know about, and they're
Yes, that's
hurting
yes.
inside,
That
and
they're hurting.
they're hurting. But here's what we don't realize until we're much older, that a lot of us have all had the same hurts and the same
Yeah,
struggles and the same pain and the same awkwardness and the same inferiority complexes and
yeah.
all the same things of, especially at that age of 15, 16, where
That's a
you think that
horrible
you're the
time.
only one and you don't realize that you're not the only one because nobody is openly talking about it because they're just embarrassed about what they're going through, right?
Sure.
And so when you find your people is when people can actually just open up and be vulnerable,
Yes.
right? And that's
Yes.
what we need to be able to be for women, is like, let ourselves be vulnerable.
And
Let
provide grace.
provide grace and be open with somebody and see in somebody like, oh, I think she's probably upset because
She's
she's
hurting.
hurting,
Hmm.
you know. And it's much like when I said, I did a reel about this several, maybe like last year or something. It's just like, girl, you know, we all have whiskers growing out of our chins, so, you
I
know,
know.
keep a pair of you know, tweezers nearby and just help a sister out, you know.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I have those women. All my friends do that.
I
Holly
mean,
literally chased me out of a house one time and was like, because I was going to meet Scott on like a third date, and she was like, "Come here," and had tweezers in her hand. I'm on the street, and I was like, "You are the love of my life right now. I mean, I couldn't love that anymore." That's what I'm, so this is
it's
what I'm talking
mhm,
about, is like when you have been exposed, and I'm talking in to meanness happens throughout your whole life. And I'm not talking about just like 15 year, I'm talking about like
yeah, women,
all over
in
the place.
general,
Women,
all
it's
all
hard.
ages. Yeah.
It's all ages. But you're so right. So that's what I'm trying to say. Is just during the like here we're entering the holidays,
Yes,
right?
right, yes.
And it brings up pain for everybody.
Sure.
Okay, and it just
Yeah.
does. Families, it's just complicated. Let's just put your hand in your pocket and have those tweezers
Yes.
ready for your fellow sister,
Yes.
and remember that we all have our stuff. We all have stuff.
Yeah, we all have
But
stuff.
what my point and why I needed you to finesse this for me is because I take things so personally,
Yes.
and I forget my pair of tweezers, and
Yeah.
and get hurt. You know, when it's
Right.
I should just be like, oh no, there's no way this is about me. You know,
Exactly.
provide more grace, and
And
that's what I want to take. That's what I'm trying to say in this chick stop.
yeah, just provide
But I'm
a
real
beat.
stuttery today.
Take
Did you
Yeah,
notice?
yeah, you are. Are you not
I'm real stuttery.
you not drinking enough, or what's going on?
Yeah,
Are you drinking
I don't
ice
know.
water? Are you drinking ice water there?
No, it's not ice water, but
Oh, okay.
I stayed up really late 2 nights in a row, so
Mm,
I think it's like that.
yeah,
And
you know,
I just
yeah.
can't swing it like I used to.
Look, Natalie, you know, here's the thing. I think we've both acknowledged that we're getting a little older, right?
Yeah.
And
Yep.
so, you know, maybe you're just tired, you
Oh, you
know?
know what?
Yep.
I'm just tired.
Honey, I think you're just tired.
But I want to be able to remember that I'm tired
Yes,
when I feel like
before.
someone is
Yes.
being hurtful. Like
Yes.
if I could just be in
Yes.
my body and heart and mind and be capable
Exactly.
of that, that's what I want.
That's why
I want to be that person
that's
that
why
can just
I love those people who just are open all the time with it. Like, I'm feeling tired. I'm feeling sad. I'm you know,
I'm
we are like it's
but
okay.
at the same time, it's like read the room. Okay. If it's not the vibe, like take
Well,
it sidebar.
okay, sure, but,
You know what I'm saying?
well, yes, of
Because
course.
you don't want to be the person who's like every time we're like, hey, how are you?
But that's the part of
Pretty
the
good.
problem.
Oh, what happened? Something happened. I don't have time. I'm literally getting in an elevator and
Well,
I
that's
don't know what to tell you right
right.
now.
That's the
There's
thing.
always it's
Yeah.
situational, it's
Yes.
circumstantial, whatever.
Sure.
But during this is you're right. I
Yeah.
did this harshly because I'm stutter pants today.
Stutter Pants
With Stutter
McGee.
Pants McGee, entering the holiday season, emotions are high.
Yep.
Shit gets weird.
Yep.
Let's all just, try and do our best to
Give grace.
give grace
Yeah. I
in this
agree.
Thanksgiving time.
Give
And including me, and I would love to receive grace, and I will absolutely provide grace.
same.
So
And here's
that's
what I
just
think we're going to call this for right now. We're going to call it giving a buck. I
yeah.
don't if you don't give a buck, no one's going to give you a buck.
You don't get a buck,
right?
right?
You just need
Golden rule.
Exactly.
So
Buck
this
off.
is also how I get bucked. Get
Don't
bucked.
get bucked. Okay?
So this movie, Uncle Buck, back to Uncle
Yes,
Buck. It's
yes.
just this could have been a potential foreshadowing for my life because I am, as I said, more likely seen as the Uncle Buck in my family, but or what was gonna be. But I, before I had settled down, which is insinuated at the end of the movie that Uncle Buck, the Buck is gonna settle down and like become his like family man. And also I'm not like him in that I don't have a gambling problem. And I also don't smoke cigars. Everyone knows that I would have chosen a cigarette. And I also don't look good in hats. But when it comes to my niece and my nephew,
Yeah.
I am full on Uncle Buck.
Yes, you are.
I would I would throw a roll of quarters
Yes.
at a woman and tell her to get bucked if she was mean about my niece and nephew. So that I guess
Or not
because I'm not so much like him as
I think getting bucked is a good thing. So I think we don't want to say go get bucked. I think we want to say like
buck
getting
off.
Yeah, like maybe buck off.
Yeah.
Buck off. But
then
maybe
we're
not.
also
But
are we taking away past the buck?
No, I really want to pass the buck in a good way. Yeah, pass the buck. Yeah, this might not work.
We should table this.
We should table this and
we'll table it.
We'll just table it and like work that out
we can
later.
circle back.
Let's circle back because I feel like but we do need to be giving good buck energy.
Yes.
Big
good
buck energy.
Because
big buck energy. Yeah.
That movie will make you feel, it really does make your heart feel full. And
it'll make you feel like $1 million.
It makes you feel like $1 million. That's good. That's good.
Thank you. Thanks.
It's really good.
I think that's a good place to leave it because really, honestly, it's everybody go watch Uncle Buck. Just if you want to feel better about everything, just go watch Uncle Buck.
Watch Uncle Buck.
Look back to a time when it was like the late 80s and everything was just like, I mean, I don't think the world was better necessarily back then. It was different, but we were less in our phones and less in our heads all the time. We didn't have those things. We didn't
have the internet.
We didn't have that. And it was like people would just communicate via the telephone once in a while. They would just talk to each other, which I still now just really love. Like when somebody calls me on the phone, I'm hey, what is up? Talk to them in person.
Fest.
Oh my gosh. I've had 2 people call me in the last couple of days that I just loved hearing from, and it was like, even if it was good news or bad news, it was like, oh yeah, I just love hearing from your voice.
Hear the voice.
Yes.
Have the connection.
So let's try to give more connections, try to be more present with our people and give grace, give some bucks. Give everybody a buck,
Yeah. Just give a grace buck.
Give a grace buck.
That didn't work.
A buck, great. Buck.
That doesn't work.
A buck note. A buck.
Well,
buck head.
I'm going to, because you're not going to stop. You're not going to stop. Angela?
Yeah. Yes, Natalie.
What I want to say to you
yes,
is one, happy Thanksgiving.
Yes.
And to you and yours. And namaste, melanoma head.
And to you, Natalie, I just want you to know, I also hope that you have a wonderful Thanksgiving.
Thank you.
And I just want you to know that Uncle Buck's got me busting my hump over here. So,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? He's really
Yeah.
got. So I'm just namaste, busting
Earning
my
your
hump.
keep.
Just
Yeah. Earn
busting
that
my
keep.
hump.
Earn your keep.
Earning my keep. Yep. Yep.
All right. I love you.
Yeah, I love you too. And if you get off you just pull the pole out of your keister, we're going to get along just fine. Okay?
I felt like I had a pull on my keister with that chick stop. Damn, that was not going the way I meant for it. All right, I love you. Bye.
Love you too. Bye. Now, isn't that better? Thanks for listening. Feel free to leave us a review and be sure to subscribe wherever you get your shows. Put Your Books Down is produced by ClantonCreative.com.